Right, welcome back to another edition of me and Brad's FPL rankings. Quite a lot to talk about, and again, given the tight schedule, it is worth mentioning that there are games happening as we are recording this. So please bear in mind if some of the information is a tad outdated. But we'll kick off as we normally do with cheap defenders. Now, eight Nori, I think is a good place to start. So I still have him at one. I still like how attacking he is. I still like Wolves' fixtures, but he's slipped quite far down your rankings. So if you
Yeah,
want to give people some light on that.
yeah, he's gone down to seventh for me. Now, one big reason for that is the fixtures. I think that with every game that goes past, the fixtures do get slightly worse for as a 5 game period, which is what we look at in
Yeah,
these videos for a Nuri. And also, the last few weeks, I just haven't really liked how deep he's played. He hasn't been picking up those really attacking positions. I mean, that could be due to like lack of personnel in the Wolves team, with injuries and what have you. But maybe that does go back to normal. But even so, that coupled with the fixtures is the reason for me.
yeah, and completely fair. I mean, also just on a purely base level, by now we would have hoped for slightly more returns out of both of our number one ranked cheap defenders. So, the proof is in the pudding a little bit as well. So I do understand it. I think the only reason he's still one for me isn't necessarily because he's amazing. It's just because there are no there's no clear number one. There's no people really rising to the top of the cheap defender segment. So he just keeps his place rather than earns his place.
Yeah,
But then I think another one I wanted to talk about, Joe Gomez. So the reason I think Gomez is a good asset, I understand Liverpool will probably do some rotation around the Canate injury. I just think Gomez's versatility, and I personally think he's quite a good player as well. I think Gomez is going to get quite a lot of starting minutes. And Liverpool's fixtures are quite good. They've got a great defense, so I think he really could be sneaky value, especially as a differential option there. But I
yeah,
understand a lot of people are scared of rotation, which I assume is probably what you're afraid of as well.
yeah. I'm in all these situations. So even with someone like Lewis when he first emerged, I'm very very cautious generally on players like this that are going to come in for an injury or that are just making their way into the team. But for me, it's the fixtures are good. That's not a problem, and I also think he's very good. Thinking back to that season when him and Van Dijk went like
Yeah.
unbeaten for however long, like he's brilliant. But yeah, I do just see Kwanzaa getting some minutes there, and yeah, I mean
Yeah.
tonight, which we're recording this on Wednesday evening. Trent's been benched and they've both played Kwanzaa and Gomez, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he plays every game, and for me that'll be enough to put me off.
Yeah. I just think he will. I mean, yeah, it's kind of. I just think he'll get enough of it to that. His ceiling is why he's number two for me because he does actually have the potential to start every game during this sort of congested period, and that potential alone is the reason he's number two. And then I think another point worth speaking about. So Colwell, he's come up in mine, and he's come up in yours. So this is just Chelsea fixtures, and he's nailed. I'm assuming.
Well, yeah. Although again, tonight he's been benched, but
Yeah,
I think the fact that he's been benched tonight probably now helps him going forward minutes wise. I think
yeah,
that this is just a case that it's a midweek game. It's against Southampton. It's basically the
yeah,
easiest fixture you can get in the tightest schedule. So
yeah,
rotation was going to happen for Chelsea. And yeah, I think that now that he's been benched this once, I don't think we'll see it again, really.
yeah. Yeah, completely agree. Same here on my side. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention, so Rico Lewis has crept back into my top 10 ratings now. Pretty much, again, this is because he's pretty much nailed. But also, City's fixtures have finally started to improve. So, in the next five, they've got Crystal Palace, Man United, Everton, and Leicester, which, for a City team, they are currently winning now. So, if they do get back to winning ways, and, Rico Lewis is getting a lot of those minutes, then I think 4.7 million is not bad value for a City defender. But it's mainly just because of the fixtures.
Yeah, again, he's another one who has been benched tonight. But again, going
Yeah,
forward, that is
it's same.
probably
Yeah,
that probably helps him. He's played ridiculous amount of minutes, so he was always going
yeah,
to get
yes,
benched at some point. And yeah, I think he probably does
yeah,
continue to play quite a lot.
yeah. And then premium defenders. I mean, there's not much to talk about there. Arsenal also seen two benchings from Gabriel and Calafiori. again, these were due to slight injuries, fixture rotation. So I think we can expect that, they start the majority of games moving forward. So there should be no minutes rotations there.
As long as
and then Robertson.
Saying, as long as they are actually fit. I mean, I'm not sure we know loads about
Yeah.
either of their injuries, but assuming they're both fit, then yeah, they're both high.
Yeah. And then Robertson, I think for me now, I know Tsimikas is injured, but Robertson seems to be playing well. The Liverpool defence is good, so he's crept in for me.
Yeah, I don't think he is playing good. I think he's actually playing rubbish, to be honest. More than anything.
You think he's playing rubbish?
I do, but that Liverpool defence is good, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't really matter if he's playing well or not at the moment, because Tsimikas is injured, and I think he's still injured. Yeah, and they don't have anyone else, so you'll be part of a very, very good Liverpool defence going forward.
Yeah, fair. And so I mean that concludes the defender segment. So let me know, what you think of our list, if there's anyone we missed, and we will see you shortly for the midfielder segment.